I should have left everything to sleep, including myself. It started with a message, not a call, not even a missed alert, just a voicemail, one I hadn't seen until my shift was already over. The timestamp said it arrived at 3:07 a.m., even though my phone never rang. It was labeled simply, voicemail, unknown number, origin, floor B2. Only problem was floor B2 didn't exist. I've worked for the Chicago Transit Authority for 11 years. I've crawled through every tunnel, every maintenance hatch, every stairwell mapped and unmapped beneath this city. I know what's real, and I know what's been condemned. B2 was decommissioned decades ago, if it ever really existed. There were rumors. Old mechanics said it used to be part of a deep access tech line built during the Cold War, then shut down in the early 80s. Some said it was storage for analog equipment no one ever cataloged. Others said it was a test line. A few just said, "Don't go down there if you hear your name." I pressed play. At first, nothing, just static, low, guttural, like breathing inside a rusted helmet. Then my voice, unmistakably mine, but wrong in rhythm, just off enough to feel distant. "Marcus, if you're hearing this, I stayed too long." The voicemail crackled. I was about to delete it when something spliced in. A second voice, older, grainy, male, like tape degraded over time. Eden Wake Initiative. Subject Theta 7. Record begins at 3:07. Then a hum, a mechanical pulse, faint chimes like bells under concrete. Then silence. I replayed it. Same message, same static, same me warning myself. That night, I pulled every floor plan, every archived blueprint I could. Nothing labeled floor B2, but there was a shaft listed on a maintenance report from 1979. Only described as non-accessible vertical link, red key required. It was sealed, forgotten. Until now, the next day, I checked the address attached to the call origin. It pointed to an unused stairwell inside the Adams/Wabash control hub. I knew the spot. It had been padlocked since before I was hired. I used my badge. The lock slid open. Inside was a narrow stairwell, metal walls sweating with condensation. The first flight ended at a door marked B2, access limited, do not enter. Scratched into the paint, barely visible, was something else. Sync only if called. I should have left, but my phone vibrated. New voicemail. No ringtone. Timestamp. 3:07 a.m. The door wasn't heavy. It should have been sealed for decades, layered with rust, humidity, and the silence of things forgotten. But it gave way like it had just been oiled, like it had been waiting. The stairwell into B2 descended further than it should have. My steps didn't echo. The walls swallowed sound like cloth soaked in water. The air changed, not colder, not damp, just older. I smelled dust that hadn't moved in years, paint that had peeled in silence, and something else, ozone, the metallic smell of electronics running. But this place had no power. I reached the bottom. The corridor opened into a long hallway lined with panels and empty control racks. A single maintenance light flickered overhead, even though the switches were all off. My boots left prints on the concrete, not in dust, but in moisture, like someone had just walked through. At the end of the hall was a rusted PA speaker bolted into the ceiling. It turned on by itself, and from it, a voice whispered, "If you're hearing this, I stayed too long. I froze." It was the exact phrase from the voicemail, my voice, but it wasn't playing from my phone. The speaker overhead was active. A red diode blinked 3 times, then cut off. I approached a terminal panel marked Log 7 Wake. Before I touched anything, the screen lit up. Lines of data scrolled automatically. User M lane. Access granted. Protocol Theta 7. Status re-engaging. I never typed a thing. I stepped back. The hum began again, low, rhythmic, like the core of something mechanical preparing to loop. Then came the second part of the voicemail, but this time, not just audio. A projector on the wall flickered on. Grainy video, time-stamped April 2nd, 1979. A man in a lab coat speaks directly to the camera. Subject Theta 7 responds strongest to audio self-feedback, but destabilizes on recognition. Mirror exposure aborted. Schedule next cycle for the tape jumps 0, 3, 7 each time. The man's face is obscured, but the name tag on his chest reads WHITLEY. My heart stopped. That was the name mentioned in another Eden Wake file. A technician who'd vanished during early neural memory syncing trials. I remembered it because it came with a warning. Do not sync with Whitley protocol unless station is clear. I turned off the projector. The light didn't go out. It just dimmed, like it was giving me time. Time to decide if I would stay, or if I already had. I turned off the screen, but the light didn't leave. It hovered, dimmed just enough to pretend it wasn't watching. I stepped backward, breath shallow. The corridor had changed. It wasn't just longer, it had bent, ever so slightly, like the walls were leaning in to listen. My phone vibrated again. No ringtone. New voicemail. Timestamp 3:07 a.m. I didn't press play, not this time. I just stared at the screen. The transcript preview read, "Let me come back. I remember now. I don't remember recording that, but it was my voice, and my breath, and my tone, that kind of calm you only hear from someone who's finally stopped running." I turned toward the stairwell. Time to leave. I reached the first step. The overhead light went out. So did the next, and the next. One by one, the corridor dropped into darkness. From behind me, the intercom clicked back on, but it didn't play the original voicemail. This time it asked, "Why are you leaving?" without finishing what you recorded. I stopped. My phone screen dimmed, then locked, then turned itself back on, and started recording without me touching it. It began capturing audio, my breathing, the hum of the corridor, my heartbeat, layered under it, the sound of someone walking exactly one step behind me. I turned around. No one, just my reflection in the glass panel of the terminal screen, but the reflection was smiling. I was. Then the voice from the intercom whispered again, not like a message this time, like a reminder. You said you wanted to remember, so we let you say it, over and over and over again. I tried to shut off the phone. It didn't respond. The recording continued. I pulled the battery, or tried to. The phone didn't open. It wasn't my phone anymore. The intercom clicked again. The tone had changed, less mechanical, more familiar. And the voice wasn't distorted. It was mine, but younger, tired, broken in a way I hadn't heard before. I think I made a mistake. I came down here because of the call. But I think the call was just an echo. Silence followed. But the tape kept rolling. Then a second voice layered over mine, old, crackled, from the 1979 archive. Eden Wake, subject, Theta 7, audio containment partial, loop integrity, unstable reinforce, with primary speaker trace. I realized something then. They weren't broadcasting my voice back at me. I was the broadcast. All this time, I thought I was hearing a voicemail, but I was just finishing one. I'd never stopped leaving. I looked down the corridor. The terminal screen now read, user, M lane, file status, active, playback loop, reinitiated, and above it, the phrase I'll never unsee, scratched into the metal wall with something blunt and angry. Don't answer yourself, but I already had. I heard footsteps again. Close now. No echo, just presence. I ran. I reached the stairwell. Every light behind me went dark in perfect rhythm. Boom, boom, boom. I climbed, heart crashing against ribs. At the door, I reached for the latch and found a sticky note. New, fresh ink, written in my handwriting. If you're reading this, you made it up once. Try again. I opened the door. No hallway, just a blank white room. One chair, one recorder, and on it, a red light blinking steadily, waiting for me to speak.